Welcome to Failing for You, where I'll fail so you don't have to, or even better yet, so you can too. But real quick, before we get started, let's hear a quick message from our sponsors.
Hi there, I'm David Turner from Process and Automation Specialists. In our world, process improvement isn't just a phrase, it's the key to unlocking efficiency in your operations. With over 20 years of hands-on experience in the heart of manufacturing plants, I've walked in your shoes, worked alongside teams like yours, and understand the ins and outs of your daily challenges. My journey from the plant floor to leading process solutions means I know exactly what it takes to elevate your operations. Interested in transforming your process efficiency with a partner who's been there? Let's connect on LinkedIn. Don't wait for the future of automation. Let's create it. Process and Automation Specialists, engineering efficiency together.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Failing for You podcast. It is me, your host, Jordan Yates. And today we have two guests. And all I have to say is meow. We have the we have the conveyor cougar, Miss Kathy Renee. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Rennie. Oh my gosh.
Hashtag meow, Jordan.
Hashtag meow, everybody. Hashtag Jordan doesn't know how to pronounce names. Hashtag forgetful. And then Lauren Vandemark. Lauren, I think I did that right. Miss Conveyor Kitten / Automation Armadillo. Okay, I'm butchering it all.
To workshop that and figure out which one is going to stick. I know which one I prefer.
Yeah.
I'm Team Conveyor Kitten all the way. Sorry, not sorry.
Guys, if you haven't heard of the Conveyor Kitten / Cougar combination, well, this is your introduction today. Now, I come across Kathy on LinkedIn, and I don't remember when it first happened, but I do remember being kind of taken aback when I saw Conveyor Cougar. I was like, okay, this is very interesting. One thing led to another. We've been sort of chatting through different messages and interacting with each other's posts. And so they have a very interesting background they have a family company, they've done automation. And if you guys didn't pick up on it, Kathy and Lauren are mother-daughter. So we're going to get into all things family dynamics, working together, automation, and the generation of TikTok and automation coming together. So let's start off, Kathy. I'm going to let you go first, kind of give yourself your introduction and say hello to everybody.
Hey, everybody. By now, you may have already heard of FlexLine Automation and the Conveyor Cougar. I have to thank my lovely daughter, Lauren, for that name. She totally regrets it now, which just feeds me.
Yeah, the name actually came about because I am a smart aleck and I say things sometimes without thinking about it. And so it really is my own damn fault, and that only makes it that much worse.
Yeah, well, we were in this meeting.
Like, oh my God, I know the Conveyor Cougar. I see her on LinkedIn, and I'm like, great. You know,
well, we were in a meeting, and we were making a joint sales call, and I mean, I walked out of there feeling like the total old lady, and I looked at Lauren and I'm like, when did I become the old lady in the room? I mean, these are just like, kiddos in there. And when? I feel like such a cougar. And she jokingly is like, yeah, Mom, the Conveyor Cougar. And I was like, oh my God, but I am though. And I floated it on a LinkedIn post, and everybody was just like, that is too funny. And Lauren was like, oh, I hate it. So I went with it.
And it's actually kind of a funny story because the first time I met you, Jordan, was at Hustex last year.
Yeah.
That show, someone came up to me and they were looking at our box erector that we were exhibiting there with our friends at Southwestern PTS, and they're like, FlexLine, I know that I've seen your stuff somewhere. Like, and then honest to God, he came back the next day and was like, oh, I figured it out. So I follow this lady called the Conveyor Cougar on LinkedIn, and I'm just like, great. I am never going to be able to tell her this story, or I'm never going to live it down. And yeah, it's kind of just snowballed from there. Obviously, it's got name recognition, and it's got a little bit of fun and alliteration, which is always a good thing in my mind. But yeah, it's
It was brilliant. You did a great thing, Lauren.
You
And
gotta trademark
I
that,
have the
Lauren.
personality to pull it off. I mean, I don't mind wearing the leopard's print and, the leather pants and all of the things that you would expect with a conveyor cougar. I'm for, so, it works for
Or just a
us.
regular cougar, no, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
right.
No, it's
Sure.
amazing. So when you started using that, like how long did it take to sort of catch on to where people started calling you more by that or recognizing you more as the conveyor cougar than Kathy?
Wow, it really seemed like it didn't take very long at all, but uh, it really all came together in the perfect storm for us because we had a marketing group that worked for us for some time. And we were making all these really great videos, and they were just languishing out on YouTube with no views, no nothing. And one day, one of them was like, well, if you really want to get some views and get your videos out there, you need to use TikTok. And Lauren, being my millennials, like, not it. And me being, like, well, I'm the old lady here. Well, why the heck not, right? So I
Mhm.
started the TikTok. So I started the TikTok about the same time as the whole conveyor cougar thing was born. And so it came, I floated it on LinkedIn kind of all at one time. And I went
Mhm.
from, 2 followers, which were probably Lauren and her dad. And, I really jumped. I mean, I don't have a million followers or anything like that, but I am so grateful for the followers that I have because they're diehard loyal in their, I mean, they are truly interested in what content we put out and give us feedback on it. But it was, to answer your question, probably, I mean, within 3 or 4 months, I mean, we went to Pack Expo. We had people coming to the booth at Pack Expo asking for the conveyor cougar. And Lauren's just like, no, say it is not so.
They
And
expect you to, like, put some sort of, like, show on, like, "Oh, it's
I,
me, the conveyor cougar." Like, are you supposed to do
I,
something?
oh my
I
God, I
ended up
had to
getting like a
talk.
monogram shirt, and my husband, bless his heart, he made himself this hat out of puff paint that said, I'm with the conveyor cougar. And he wore that to PAX. And I
Yeah.
mean, we have just really tried to have fun with it. I mean, I've been in this business. This will be my 40th year this year. Flexline turns 40. It's my anniversary with Lauren's dad, Rhett. And, if it weren't for the sense of humor and being able to laugh and really have fun, we would have never made it 40 years as a couple, let alone 40 years as a family business. That just would not have been possible. So the whole sense of humor thing has played out well, and we just have lots of fun with it.
Lauren, how did you end up sticking around and being a part of the family business? Did you ever venture out and try something else and then get pulled back in, or did you always just kind of go with it? Because I mean, it sounds like a fun place to be, but you know how kids and parents are. Sometimes it's like, oh, I'm going to do my own thing. Did you ever try a different path first?
Um, I did. So I worked here right after undergrad, and then I went and I got my master's degree. And whenever I came back, mom actually didn't want to hire me back.
I was
Um,
still a little salty that she left. I'm not going to lie.
be mad at me. Um, but I wanted to come back, and I wanted to come back to the area, because over the course of time that I was gone, I really realized what was important to me, and one of those big things was to be able to be around my family. And at that point, all of my grandparents and everybody was here in this
Hmm.
area. And then it just so happened that we got a really big project at the same time, and so Dad actually uh, hired me against mom's wishes to do project management on that. And yeah, it was a really really fun project, and it was um, a really good learning experience for me and for a variety of reasons, and to be able to talk to like my professors and things and be like, your HR class did not prepare me for mediating these arguments that I'm having with these employees that we'd hired specifically to do that project and things. And it's just like, oh boy, real life versus the academic career was a bit of an awakening, but it was also a lot of fun and it was interesting. And I got to spend a lot of time with my dad and my grandpa while he was still alive. And he would come over and was just very impressed with it. And it was really
I
nice
was
to see
very
that.
impressed with it. She did a phenomenal job, and I'm just gonna like throw this in. I didn't want to hire her mainly because I really
Why,
wanted
Kathy?
I wanted her to go get a job with another company so that when she did come crawling back, she realized just how good she had it. So
Doesn't
that was my
sound
whole point.
petty at all.
Yeah,
Right?
well, I
No,
mean, hey,
she's
it's a
never
mom
petty.
thing.
That would never.
you know, it's a mom thing, but I'm super proud of what she accomplished. You should probably give Mississippi State a plug. You know, she did graduate with master's in marketing, and that's probably where the whole conveyor cougar thing came from. It was probably planted there as a
Yeah,
seed in
probably.
school, but
Pretty sure all of my classmates there from the MBA program are going to listen and be like, oh God, that's what happened? That's what Lauren wound up doing? Like, she was president of the MBA Association. She had so much promise. Like,
I feel like from the outside looking in, what you guys are doing looks super cool. And I think you're putting that MBA to work in all the best ways possible. Like,
agree.
and that's the funny
Yes.
thing with marketing and social media. Sometimes when you're at home and you're doing this stuff, it's like, it feels not like an imposter syndrome, but kind of like you don't always feel like it's as cool as it is to people who don't know you. And then if they don't know you and they've just come across like sort of your branding, they're like, whoa, like this is all they know you as, like this is the personality. And it's very interesting to see how people absorb it that don't know you in your like actual real life versus who know you through social media. So I think it's very fun to kind of like play with branding and see how you come across, because I think whatever you two are doing, it's obviously working very well and it's been very fun to watch. Now I want to get back into the TikTok thing. So as a person who does social media myself, I find it pretty interesting that you've had success on TikTok with like your automation stuff. Now, I'd kind of like to learn more about that personally. And I think the listeners would too, because I think some of us shy away from TikTok because we think, well, that's not where our buyers are. That's not where, like we're going to form a deal or an opportunity. So, can you kind of walk us through like how the brand recognition there and the growth there has helped you in your business? And
It
either one
has
of you who wants to take it.
oh, that's
It's
the
been a
TikTok
tremendous
queen.
springboard. Lauren doesn't TikTok, so I'm going to have to take this. I mean, I don't even think she has a TikTok account.
I
Still.
do not.
So I drew the short straw. I had to learn to do the TikTok. I found myself an 11-year-old to teach me how, and I'm still not all that great at it. But the thing about the platform itself is that TikTok is really trying to be more B2B, and they do have a lot more analytical data and metrics available for the business account. And I have a business account as Flexline Automation. I have a personal account as me, Kathy Rennie, and I also have the Conveyor Cougar. And the reason why I first created the business account, and I got disappointed because I could only use really crappy music for my videos because a business account, they really limit, they really watch that. And I wanted
Yeah.
to be trendier. And so I'm like, well, to heck with that. I will just save the business account for stodgy old business posts. So up came the Conveyor Cougar, who can just pretty much do whatever she wants. And that's why I love that alter ego. It's like, but I
It's with
started doing
you
that, and I use
every
it
day.
really as I say, a springboard, because I create content there and then I share it across other platforms,
Okay.
X and Facebook and Instagram, and of course LinkedIn and Snapchat. And so even some Reddit sometimes will share out to that. And it's just really quick. It's easy to use. It's something you can throw on there, something a little catchy. And I wouldn't have thought the automation would really fly, but not to pat myself on the back too much, but I do really do a great job picking out the music for the videos. And a lot of people comment on that on LinkedIn when I make a post. They're just like waiting to see what the song choice is going to be. So, I spend a lot of time. I sit at my desk making a lot of TikToks, and Lauren will hear me playing different songs. And she'll be like, oh, God, mom's on TikTok again. But
And heaven help her if she wants to get things to line up just right, because you hear the same 10 seconds of music over and over and over. It's like, dear Lord, I'm going to get you headphones for Christmas. Like,
Yes.
it's really fun. And there are a lot more businesses that are joining the platform. When I first started, I didn't see a lot of other automation content, but I'm seeing a lot more. Their algorithm is pretty much like, anything else. If you show an interest in something, they just fill your feed with it. And so
Hmm.
now my feed is full of all sorts of cool automation projects and stuff like that. And I'm seeing more people and I have more followers. I have quite a few followers. I mean, I don't have anything like, some of the cool TikTok people do, but
How many
I'm
followers do
hoping
you have, Kathy?
I have, I think 1,000, I don't know, 1,070, something, almost 1,100 or
Queen.
maybe more, maybe 1,200. I really
Yeah.
don't know. Honestly, for sure. I try to post something out there every day, or
That's a lot of
at least,
work.
yeah, at least 3 or 4 times a week. And finding the cool, fun, relevant content is hard. But I watched a really great webinar that A3, the Association for Advancing Automation, put on about social media, and they mentioned a tip which I found very valuable, and that's like recycle stuff, because the followers that
Hmm.
you had 6 months ago when you posted that, they aren't the ones that are going to see that in their feed. And so if you're not recycling your posts, you're losing a lot of opportunity for the new folks to be able to see that content. And that helps kind of alleviate, the content fatigue that we all suffer when you're trying to stay relevant in social media.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great tip because something that I struggle with a lot and have always shied away from TikTok and like reels and things like that is because there is always a new trend, like you said, and hopping on it, understanding it, learning it, that has always overwhelmed me to where I'm like, oh, I create quote unquote like original content. It's because I'm just too lazy to like go like lip sync to the video, or I try and then it just makes me feel so frustrated. And I'm like, you know what? If I just do something that's totally like random, then that'll be faster and easier. But like it doesn't track as well as when you do plug into the
Oh, for
trends,
sure.
because those are the things that trend super well.
Yes.
And I think I've always kind of preached to people at conferences for marketing B2B that like, hey, it's fine to just stick to one platform. Like you don't need to get into TikTok. Like there's, we haven't seen as much return there, but I love more than anything to be wrong and learn more, which is, failing for you. That's what we're always trying to improve. And it's cool hearing that you guys are across so many platforms. Lauren, do you have insights into sort of the stuff you're putting on the other platforms you guys are using and kind of how that's been going, and in like what seems worth the time versus what's like still in experimental phase?
well, I mean, definitely for what we do, LinkedIn works a lot better than Facebook and Instagram and things like that. I mean, there has been some research out there that Gen Z is going to be really shuffling and changing how um, marketing really will work, because they do a lot of their purchasing based off of TikTok and Instagram and things like that, even in the B2B world,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is going to throw a big wrench into things for a lot of B2B communication, because like I'm still very old fashioned, right? Like I've got
Mm-hmm.
it in my head, like this needs to be professional. We need to, there's a certain aesthetic and there's a certain way of speaking. And like I personally had like this major problem where all of these studies were like, you should use emojis in your business to business communication. But, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable using emojis in business communication. Like,
I load
you know,
mine up. I load it up with emojis. I load it up with
I know.
hashtags. I just sprinkle that crap all over all of it, and I think the thing is, TikTok, it doesn't
That's
matter
why it
what
works so
platform
well.
you're doing. You want to have fun with it. and you want your authentic side to come through. And when we were doing all the professional videos, yeah, I agree with Lauren. You need some of those because you need your company to have some credibility. But,
Mm-hmm.
what do people watch on TV? They watch reality TV for a reason. They want to know who you are. They want to know the crap you do wrong. They want to know when you feel foolish. They want to see you have fun. They want to see you fail. They want the dirty. And
Mm-hmm.
and I tell Lauren all the time, she's like, "Well, who are our customers?" And I'm like, you're selling to people. It's B2B, but it's still people. And, you have to appeal to people. No business writes a check, but the people in the business do, so those
Yeah.
are the people that you really have to target. And I don't focus on the trends. I sometimes do them. I got totally into the chicken wars because it was fun, but, I don't
No idea what
focus
that
on
is.
that. And part of the reason why I guess I can get by with that is I'm kind of old and have my own niche, and I just throw my own stuff out there and everybody gives me a pass, but,
Well, I think it works really well though, too, having kind of the two-pronged approach where, you
yes.
have the like, oh, we're super uptight professional posts, and then also have the like, hey, we're real, we're
Yeah.
entertaining, we're fun to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And, having both of those together works really, really well for us as a company.
That's nice that you have that balance there, and I think it is so ironic that, the mom is the one who is the fun, quirky one doing the crazy content on TikTok, and the daughter is the one who's like corporate structured. Like I love irony, and I think that's
Bet
perfect.
like if we were to have like dinner or drinks together or anything, it tracks. Like she was always the one I would want to melt into the floor. Going to show my age a little bit, but we would go to Spencer's Gifts in the mall, right? Like Spencer's Gifts, it was this really eclectic little store, and the guys behind the counter were always like, "Oh my God, Lauren, your mom is so cool," right? And like every time anybody's like, "Oh my God, I love the conveyor cougar," I'm like 13 again, standing in that Spencer's Gifts. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is so uncomfortable for me. Um, but yeah, I've always been much more. I'm the straight man.
She is. She
Yeah,
is.
that's it's nice to have the balance though, and I feel like Kathy, I lean more towards your side in the approach of like more the silly, the fun, and all that, and that's why my tagline is making technical content fun and relatable, because I think I'm not good at being structured and as like serious. And Lauren, I feel like my boyfriend relates to you a lot in the sense where he's like, "Did you really just post that? Like, that's so embarrassing. Like, why are you putting that on the internet?" And I'm like, "Babe, people love it. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I swear it's good for business." And he's like, "You're running a business." And I'm like, "Babe, I know, but they like Jordan. They don't like like, And so
Yes.
I
Yeah.
totally feel for you, Lauren, because I am such a Kathy with that stuff. And I see daily what it does to your loved ones when you are that embarrassing to them. But both sides are needed, like
They are.
it is important. So I guess thank God you guys are, on the same team. And has there been times though where you try to communicate to your mom of like, "Mom, like this is a little over the line," or do you just kind of let her do her thing?
Well, not really, because one fun thing that maybe your boyfriend doesn't have, I don't know what background he has, but I always say like the marketer in me is just like, "Oh my God, this is great. Build the brand. Girl, let's go." The daughter in me is the one that has just a problem with this. Like, you know, um, and that's a very fun internal conflict to have all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But given that the marketer in me, whenever it is something where it's just like, "Oh my God, I would never want to put that out there personally," the marketer in me is like,
Thing.
"Yes, how
I'm
many
just
views are you
feeling
getting? How many
saucy,
clicks did you
and
just get?"
there's just no reining me in. And the fact that if she would come in and be like, "Mom, I don't want you to post that," I would have my thumb would be on the post button faster than if she was like, "Do post it quick, quick." Then I'd be
Yeah.
That was
hesitant.
too. There
I'd be
would
like,
be
"Oh,
like
I don't
six
know what's wrong
reaction
with it. You want me
videos
to
and
post
like
it?"
My
What's
daughter
wrong?
says she can control me.
Right. Exactly. And I
So you
love to sit in my office and hear her on the phone and be like, I always know when somebody brings up conveyor cougar because she'll be like, that's my mom.
It's true.
is there a certain point, Lauren, where you hit an age and then you become a conveyor cougar, or are you always the kitten because your mom's the cougar? Like, is there a
See,
threshold?
I struggle with that because I am 38. I am almost as old as the company itself. And as someone
She's
who's
closer to
38, I feel
39, but
like
I'm not even
keeping
good.
thanks, Mom. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, I feel like I am too old to be considered a kitten, and that is part of my problem with the whole kitten thing. Is like I am
You're always going to be my kitten. There's
yes,
that.
struggle is real.
It's cute though. It's cute. I mean, I feel like it's rare that you come across automation companies that have such endearing marketing terms and people working there that like their personality, whether are shining through or they're in a personality battle with their mom and daughter. Like I think it's very refreshing. And although Lauren, you're probably cringing and dying on the inside, you are giving the people what they want. And it like Kathy, I think you mentioned people love reality TV, and I feel like it's a version of that. What
Yes.
is your favorite reality TV shows that you feel like have inspired you in this like journey?
Girl, I don't even watch them.
What? You said I am the TV.
Life is a reality TV show. I mean, I go from, when you have the crazy automation business, and then Lauren and I both have farms on the side. And I mean, right before today's podcast, she was dragging a baby calf into her barn to her garage to bottle feed
To a
it.
garage, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, our life is a reality TV show. I swear, if you strapped a GoPro on us and just followed us around, we'd probably have 1 million subscribers because people would be like,
Yeah.
wow, just wow. And so I don't watch any of the kind of,
You
I don't,
used to
the
watch
Survivor, the
that
whole
bike one though.
backbiting snipey thing is not appealing to me because I mean, I'm still of the generation where your handshake is your word, and we're very honest and straightforward and all of those things. And so I don't know, reality TV really makes me cringe.
You used to watch American Choppers all the time. Like that was the whole Popeye bike thing
We
where
did
we
a
built the
parody
bike
on
and
that
it was
one.
like a whole thing.
Yeah, I guess
So
that's kind of reality TV.
that's
Yeah.
a reality TV show, right? Like
I
Yeah.
think so. I love like watching like Keeping Up with the Kardashians or something like that because I feel like I get a lot of my inspiration from when they do the cutaways and like the confessionals where they're
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, and Kim was totally like this. Like I love kind of putting that style into my videos sometimes of like breaking the fourth wall and like talking straight to them. And it's funny because I think the guys I make videos for never would have known where my inspiration came from, which
right?
makes that much funnier of like we're mimicking the Kardashians, we're mimicking Love Islands. Like but we're putting an automation twist on it. I think it is fun because it does have sort of like the unhinged vibe of reality TV. And Kathy, I hope you get your own show one day. Like, that would be
I
a
know.
blessing to us all.
Lauren does
Making
too,
my
I'm
husband
sure.
would.
Yeah, that she would be really happy about that.
I mean, I'd be okay with it, but my husband's an engineer and he's like the engineering kind of engineer,
Oh
and he
gosh,
would
yeah.
not be okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it is
we would
hard.
embarrass him. My husband, Lauren's dad, Rhett, has a very good sense of humor. And so he usually just kind of eggs me on. But Eric, Lauren's husband, does get very embarrassed. He's just like,
Both of
oh,
them work here, so there would be
yes.
no escape.
Yeah, we work with both of our husbands. So it adds a little
Wow.
interesting dynamic to things.
That
Doesn't
is very
stop me,
interesting.
though. I mean, hasn't slowed me down.
I love that. So we're getting kind of close to the end of our time. I know we kind of like it. I'm such a chaotic host. I bounce around so much. So guys, I hope as you've been listening so far, you've been keeping up with it. But I think overall, something we really learned today is one, working with your mom can be hella fun and a little cringe, but overall fun. And two, TikTok is in for B2B and there's ways to
Yes.
make it creative. And I feel like those are kind of two of my big takeaways. Is there anything you guys each want to leave the listeners with today? I know we didn't get to go as deep because we had two guests on, but I've had a lot of fun so far.
I think I would just touch briefly on, small businesses, especially. We don't have the same marketing budget as especially we're integrators, right? So we're not manufacturers. We don't have like the manufacturer budget for marketing and things like that. And I think it's important for small businesses to kind of utilize their creativity and do fun things like the TikTok and exploring different avenues. We also, as small businesses, don't have the same structures in place that really prevent us from doing fun things as much as I might personally find them to be slightly cringe. Um,
Yeah.
you know, and we need to really leverage that, right? Like automation is interesting and automation is fun and what we do is fun. And if you look at all of our business LinkedIn pages, you don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
And changing that, I think, would go a long way into making our industry like more approachable even for the next
You're always
generation.
asking, what do we do to get more people to join our industry? And that's maybe not be so stodgy and to
Right.
actually
Like,
embrace the younger generations. I mean, those are the people that have grown up with screens in front of them all the time. They're very comfortable going on TikTok and making a purchasing decision. And I would wrap things up with, if you're not following Flexline Automation on YouTube, you'll miss seeing some of my best work, because I did a video I'm particularly proud of called Rhett's Robot Emporium. And I did that because Lauren's husband, Eric, was aggravated that we were taking on all of these robot lines. And he was just like, slow it down. We want to just do this one or the other. And so I dress up like Lauren's dad, my husband, and I go out and I do this whole big sales spiel about we got all kinds of robots. And you'll appreciate it, Jordan, because the whole thing,
Yeah.
there was no script. I'm just standing in front of the green screen and I'm just ad-libbing and just making stuff up as I went. And Lauren is in the background. She's like the wacky arm thing in the background, because it's kind of like a car salesman kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah. You need to go out and take a look at that. Rhett's Robot Emporium. So follow us on definitely on TikTok. Follow Flexline Automation on TikTok if you want Lauren's stodgy videos. Follow Conveyor Cougar on TikTok if you want my edgy videos. And definitely give us both a follow on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram. We're on Snapchat. We're on Facebook. And by we're, I mean mainly me. But Lauren does have some accounts too. But give us a follow and then let us know what kind of things that you want to see. And we're getting ready to do some like educational videos. And one of the things on Conveyors is catenary sag. And, my twist on that is going to be like, well, I'm here today to talk to you about something that women my age don't want to discuss. And that's sag, So, we've got all sorts of things in mind for this year. We're excited. I did a Dire Straits Money for Nothing parody, actually singing. I'm every band member playing an instrument, singing a song that Lauren wrote to that. So we've got a lot of creative stuff coming. And if you're not following us, you're going to miss it. And I would really hate that for you.
I would hate that for them too. It would just be embarrassing if they didn't know what was going on. So guys, like in the spirit of failing for you, don't fail by not following these ladies everywhere, because that's just something you can't come back from. So I'm going to get all of their links from them and I'm going to just put it all in the show notes. That way you guys don't have to work hard. You just click, you follow and enjoy. So ladies, thank you so much for coming on. I swear 30 minutes has never gone by so fast. I had such a good time. I'm such big fans and I can't wait to see like what you guys do next.
Come see us at Modex. We'll be there. Come see us at Automate. We'll be there. Pack Expo. We'll be there. So stop by our booth, look us up, come say hello.
Sounds great, guys. Well, As always, thank you guys so much for listening. It once again was me, your host, Jordan Yates. And in the meantime, I'll be failing for you. See you next week.